In this video, I'm going to be reviewing the Majohn P139 fountain pen. I'll go over the specs, I will do a writing sample, and I'll tell you what I like and don't like about this pen coming up. Blake here with Blake's Broadcast. On this channel, I review fountain pens, paper, and ink, and as always, I put links in the show notes in the description below. And if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, it really helps out my channel. Alright, let's get on with the review. This is the Majohn P139. This pen is obviously heavily inspired by the Montblanc 139 or the Montblanc Hemingway. I wouldn't say it's a direct copy because there are some differences, but it's obviously heavily influenced by it. Now, I don't personally like pens that are copies of other pens. However, Montblanc doesn't make the Hemingway or the 139 anymore, so I think it's okay that we're sort of getting a vintage recreation here. As far as Chinese pens go, I think this one is very interesting because of how nicely made it is. All of the body and cap is made from turned resin or acrylic, so it has a very solid feel. You don't have that injection molded plastic feel that you get on, well, like a Mont Blanc. So it feels really, well put together. The trim on this pen is a very nice quality. I don't really see any issues with it. Everything fits together nicely. The piston in this pen is brass, and this pen has a quality feel that I think goes beyond any of the other Chinese pens that I've experienced thus far. And this pen costs $56 with the number 8 nib like I have on here. And it's a wow for the price. It really punches above its price point. In terms of specs and options, these pens are available in two colors. You get this shiny white one, or there is a orange color. For whatever reason, in the pictures, the orange color looked really, really flat. So even though that's maybe more Mont Blanc-y in terms of looks, which I do like the look of the Hemingway, somehow it didn't look very good in this pen in the orange. So I went with the sparkly white, which is a bit more sparkly than I typically go for. Other options are nib options. You have number 6 and number 8 nib options. I believe they're only available in medium and fine in either of those. I went with the number 8. It's $56 for a number 8 and $42 with a number 6. Now, design-wise, we have these little funnel ends at the cap and the piston knob here, and then there is a pretty clear but mild taper towards from the cap ring to the finial. We have a very vintagey Mont Blanc inspired clip, which is very similar to that. It is a stamped metal, but the plating and everything looks really, really nice. It's not until you get to about this point where you can see that it is that sort of stamped metal. Have a thin cap ring and then a bigger cap ring that goes all the way to the edge of the cap, and there's some nice relief in there. The engraving quality looks really, really good. On the back of the cap, you can see it says Moon Man. I don't know, they're using the name Moon Man, but also Majohn. It's incongruous, but it is what it is. It's pretty subtle. It's not the smallest engraving, but it never really bothers me in use. Definitely a lot more elegant way to do branding than like the Asvine C2000 that I reviewed recently. Now, the body tapers towards the nib a bit and then flares out before tapering again towards the piston knob. You do have this kind of little coin edge right here at the edge of the piston knob, and then you have a trim ring. It looks really nice. Maybe the coin edge could be a little bit more crisp looking, but I think it looks pretty good. Now, in terms of the cap, it is a threaded cap. Let's see here. 1, 2, 2.5 turns, which is a lot. Although, to be honest, in my use, I don't really pay that much attention to it, but I know it bugs some people. The cap does post very securely, and it is quite comfortable when posted in my hand, it balances really, really nicely. So this pen is really like a 149 from a comfort perspective, which is one of my most comfortable favorite pens. But if you do have smaller hands, maybe a little bit less comfortable, you do get a nice ink window here. We have some threading, and then we have a grip section before it flares out. It does kind of have a pretty Mont Blanc-y look to the grip section. The nib is steel, and we have this kind of neat sun laser engraving around the breather hole. And it says Majohn, and then for some reason it says Expedition, and it says M because this is a medium. You know, the laser engraving I think does work on this nib. Like they did a good job with the design of it. You know, it's still not as nice as a, proper like stamping, but it looks pretty good. The shape of the nib is also pretty nice looking with a good taper from the shoulders into the section. It looks nice. And then we have a very nice ebonite feed. Looks better than a lot of the other ebonite feeds I've seen on Chinese pens. Fit and finish just overall is really, really impressive. The quality of this pen for $56 is a wow. Let's do some measurements. Uncapped, about 123. Posted, about 168. 136, 137. So good sized pen, but you do have kind of flat ends. I mean, they do have those little funnels there, but it's not too long. In terms of the grip section, the widest 13.2, and at the narrowest 12.1, and the barrel is 15.5. Now, let's just compare the grip section to the Mont Blanc 149 here. So 13.6, 12.8. So they're really very, very similar. I actually think that the Majohn nib or grip section, the way that it terminates, we're maintaining the same material, whereas on the Mont Blanc, you have a separate piece there in this sort of matte plastic that just doesn't, I don't think looks quite as nice, to be honest. Now let's do the weight real quick. Looking at 13.64 grams, and this is getting close to being empty. And then 25.5 grams. You get that solid quality feeling whether you use it posted or unposted. It just has a good quality feel to it. Now in terms of the size, here it is with a 149. So it is definitely shorter, but about the same width. Here it is with a Aurora Optima, a Vanishing Point, and a Omas Paragon. So it's a shorter pen just because it has sort of more of that flatter top look to it. In terms of the nib size compared to the 149, we can just see that they're very, very similar in size. I do think that the Mont Blanc nib looks slightly better, but you do get an ebonite feed, which you do not get on the Mont Blanc. For the writing sample, I'm going to be using a Papermind Tomoe River hardcover notebook. These notebooks are excellent for fountain pens, and for Blake's Broadcast viewers and subscribers, you can get 10% off with code BB10 at checkout. This is the Majohn P139, and this is the number 8 nib, and this is a medium, and this is Hiroshi Zuku Asagao. Okay, now fast writing. That was me lifting, not the pen. Really, really good. This nib is great. In terms of line variation, if I push on it, you can definitely get some line variation. It's a relatively soft nib. I don't think you're going to get any line variation in normal writing, but if you do push on it, you can make a wider line, which I think is really nice. Reverse writing, it's relatively smooth. This is just a well-finished nib, what can I say? Yeah, I would say this is a good candidate for that because you do get a difference in line width there. Really nice, just a really, really nice pen. I've really enjoyed writing with it. You don't mind the copycat looks? I think this is a pretty nice pen. So what are my pros and cons for the Majohn P139 fountain pen? Well, for $56, the build quality of this pen is fantastic. There's just no other way to put it. The fit and finish on everything feels really nice. It's turned from a solid bar. It just has that, robust feeling that you get from pens that are turned versus injection molded pens. There's no issues with like the finish on the trim. You get a big number 8 nib that is threaded with a ebonite feed, and you get some nice line variation. It writes really well. The cap seals perfectly for me. I left this for like 2 weeks and it wrote instantly, not any hesitation at all. It's just really nice. The piston is super smooth. It's just a very, very well put together pen, and it has a relatively nice look to it as well. In terms of cons, I mean, this is obviously a copy of a Montblanc 139 or the Hemingway. Neither of those pens are currently in production, so I can forgive that a little bit. It's not like, a fake Lamy Safari or like a properly fake, 146 or something like that, Montblanc 146. This is a pen that is not made anymore, but it obviously is a copy, and whether you like that or not, that's up to you. Color options, there's this sparkly white body or a very sort of flat looking orange body. Now, normally I would have thought, oh, I'll go for the orange one, but I don't know. For some reason, just seeing it, it just didn't look very good. This, is a little sparkly for my taste, but I think it's the better looking of the two. But your options for colors are very limited. Same thing with nibs. You only get medium or fine in these. The other thing I would say is the nib engraving. It's a laser engraving. It looks okay, not the best, not the worst, but the design kind of works. I also notice somewhat annoyingly that ink kind of gathers around the breather hole on this nib. It's not a big deal, but just a minor gripe there. Otherwise, this is just a fantastic pen. But that's pretty much it. Do you guys have this pen? Do you like this pen? Let me know in the comment section below if you like this video. Please hit that like button. And if you want to see more fountain pen, paper, and ink videos, please hit that subscribe button. Thank you so much, and until next time.